Welcome back to my channel. Now I hadn't forgot about Easter coming up. I'm just a little late to the game. I've been here, I've just been busy. You know, you got Easter coming up and family gathering around and enjoying the holiday and spending time together, but you do have some people who don't have that family that they can be around and enjoy the holiday with. So we don't want to leave anybody out here. If you want to be able to enjoy an Easter meal for just one or two people so that you don't have a ton of leftovers left, come on and go with me, and I'm going to show you today how you can cook you a delicious Easter meal for just one or two people. So come on, let's go. We're going to start this Easter meal with dessert first. My reason for doing this is because the dessert and the meal itself need to be cooked on very different temperatures. So we're going to get the dessert out of the way first so it can actually be cooling while our meal is being cooked. We're going to need 1 egg yolk. We don't need the white. So I'm going to put the white in this bowl right here, and we will put the yolk in this bowl over here. I know most of you probably know how to separate an egg, but if you don't, this is an easy way to do it. You know, I usually break the yolk, so hey, it's all intact as of now. I think I probably just broke it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this egg yolk in this bowl before I lose any of it. And never fear, the egg white will not be thrown away. I will put it with another whole egg and I will eat some eggs. To this egg yolk, you want to add 1/4 cup of sugar. I already have mine measured out. Just pour it in that bowl. You also need 2 tablespoons of melted butter. This recipe calls for 1/8 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm just going to go ahead and use 1/4 teaspoon because I always add more vanilla than it calls for anyway. Put that in your bowl as well. Now you're going to take a hand mixer and you're just going to blend this until it's smooth. Now in a separate bowl you want to put 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. You need 1/8 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And 1/8 teaspoon of salt. You just want to whisk the dry ingredients together just to get them combined really good before we add them into the wet ingredients. Now we're going to pour these dry ingredients into the bowl with the wet ingredients. And we're going to mix it with this little mixer until it's well combined. This is what it should look like. Now you want to add in 1 tablespoon of milk and just mix it until it's smooth. This is what it should look like at this point. Now let's get to those carrots. Next, you're going to need 1/4 cup of grated carrots. I've got these baby carrots is what I have, so that's what I'm going to use. Now, I don't know how many of these little baby carrots it's going to take, and it don't matter. But I'm going to use just this little bitty handheld grater right here, since I don't need any more than that. We'll get this grated up, measured out, and get it put in that bowl and mixed up with everything else. This is carrot number 3, and I'm thinking this may just do it. We'll get this one grated up and we'll get this put in an actual measuring cup. And we'll see how much we got. Since I'm the one eating this, I'm just gonna pick these carrots up and put them in this measuring cup. I'm thinking that 3 of those baby carrots is going to be enough. We might do one more small one. So 4 baby carrots was enough to make a 1/4 cup. Let's get that mixed in with the rest of the cake mix. Okay, let's get our 1/4 cup of grated carrots in with this cake mix, and we're going to fold this in. Okay, this is what it should look like. This last ingredient for the actual cake itself is optional. I am going to put it in because I do like pecans. So you're going to need 1 tablespoon of chopped pecans. Now, I know me, and I'm probably going to put a little bit more than that, but it'll be okay. But you don't have to put them if you don't want to. Now I'm just going to get me a few out here. We'll just give them a rough chop. In case I didn't tell you, we are making a homemade mini carrot cake. And this is going to be big enough for 1 or 2 people. It's going to be just right so that you don't have a whole big old carrot cake left over that you feel like you've got to either get it in the freezer or eat it before it goes bad. And nobody wants that hanging around in the form of an entire cake. So, this is more than 1 tablespoon, I'm sure. I didn't measure it, but I'm sure. But we're going to use this much. We're going to get that poured in here. And we're going to get that folded in. I think I'm going to add a few more pecans. Okay, let's get those folded in. Okay, we're ready to get this put in the ramekin. Now I've got some butter, and I'm going to lightly butter this ramekin. Swirl that butter all around in there. I always use a paper towel. Now you can use your hand if you want to. You can use a coffee filter. I've done that before. Just however you want to do it. But get that all greased up with that butter. Now that we've got everything mixed up and we have our ramekin buttered, we're going to transfer this cake batter to this ramekin, and we're going to put it in a 350-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes, or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. You know the drill when baking a cake. So let's get this poured in and let's get it in the oven. And here we go. Let's pop this in the oven. Now we're going to make a cream cheese frosting for our homemade carrot cake. But while the cake is baking, it's going to have to cool when it comes out anyway. So we're going to wait about making our frosting. And we're going to concentrate on getting our actual meal prepped so that it can go in the oven as soon as the cake comes out. Because the cake cooks at 350 degrees. But the actual meal that we're going to prepare needs to cook at 450. So, let's get everything else prepped and ready to go in the oven, and then we'll worry about the frosting for the cake later. You want to get you a pan. I'm lining mine with foil because I want easy cleanup. I'm going to set this to the side. I've got my cutting board here, and I have a bowl. Right now, we're going to cut up some of these potatoes and prepare some of these green beans. We're going to put them in this bowl. Okay, we're going to take our potatoes and we're just going to cut them in half. This size right here, I'm actually going to cut into 3 pieces. They're a little larger. This one I'm going to cut into 4 because it's pretty large. Same with that one. Now I'm cooking these with the intentions of having leftovers, and that should be plenty. Next, we'll take some of our green beans. Now I think the way that I'm going to actually prep these green beans, because I just need to put them in the bowl with these potatoes. I'm just going to take them and I've got my little kitchen shears, and I'm just going to snip the ends off of them. And then I'm just going to cut them up in my bowl. I want them in smaller pieces. I'm just going to cut them in half. That one I'm not going to leave it whole. Now if you don't want to cut them smaller, you don't have to. Just leave them whole. But I'm going to get the rest of these done, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, I'm going to add some olive oil into my bowl with my potatoes and green beans. I want to be generous with it. Now, there are no actual measurements for any of the things that I'm about to put in here. But you're going to want some minced garlic. That can be fresh minced, jarred. That's what I'm using. I think a lot of people call it jarlic. So I'm going to go in with just about that much because I don't want it to be too overpowering. But I do want a little bit of the garlic taste in there. Next, I'm going in with some salt, some pepper, some onion powder, and you want some thyme, either fresh or dried. I don't have fresh, so we're going to use the ground thyme. You just want to take your hand and get in there and just mix all that up really good. Make sure that all of the potatoes and the green beans are coated evenly with all the oil and the seasonings. It smells really good. Okay, I think that's good and coated. Now I wanted ham, but I don't want a whole ham or even a quarter ham hanging around for me to have to use up a whole bunch of leftovers. So I've got this boneless ham steak. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to cut it in half right down the center. Let's get that done. Okay, so that's going to be easy prep. Just cut it down the center. You can even cut it in quarters if you want to. I'm going to leave it just cut in half. Now I'm going to take this ham and I'm just going to put it right here in the center of this sheet pan, just like that. On your ham slices, you're going to want to take some pineapple rings, some pineapple slices, and you're going to want to put a couple of these on top of this ham. And now I'm just going to put one per ham slice. And that just leaves me two more slices. There was only 4 in this little can. I bought the small can because I didn't want a ton of pineapple left over. But I'll eat that with some cottage cheese or something. Might make me a pineapple sandwich. Okay, I'm still waiting on that cake to come out of the oven. Mine has taken longer than 23 minutes. Right now we're standing at 28, 29, 30 minutes right now and counting. But it should only be a couple more minutes and that'll be done. So let's get started on our glaze for our ham. And my cake is ready. It took about 32 minutes. We're going to set this to the side and let it be cooling while we get the rest of this dinner going. Now this recipe I'm following is a very loose recipe because there are absolutely no measurements for any of these things that I'm using today. So I'm going to have to wing it with this sauce. I've never made this sauce, but here goes. On the fly, we're going to give it a shot. I need a small saucepan. Get you some brown sugar. Now I'm going to start with a tablespoon of brown sugar. I'm going to measure these out, so hopefully I can leave y'all a decent recipe down there with the actual measurements for this. So we'll go in with 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. You're also going to need you some apple cider vinegar. And now we're just going to start with 1 teaspoon of that. Next, you're going to need you some Dijon mustard. I've got this pot turned on a low heat back here, getting that started. I think for our Dijon mustard, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to start with a teaspoon of that because I'm just not sure about this. We're going to have to taste this as we go. Now next, you're going to need you some honey. Now, I'm going to use about a tablespoon, at least to start with. Now I'm just going to mix all that up together in there. We're making a glaze for this ham, for this pineapple and ham. Like I said, I'm going to taste this in just a minute. But you need to let this simmer on a low heat until it thickens up and it resembles a glossy glaze. Okay, I've tasted this, and now we're going to go in with a 2nd tablespoon of brown sugar. Just get that stirred up in there, let it dissolve. That apple cider vinegar was just keeping it a little too tart. I think it should be just a little bit sweeter. So we'll go with that, and we'll test it again and see where we stand. I'm also going to go in with another tablespoon of honey. I have tasted this, and I think that is pretty much good to go for my taste anyway. Adjust it for your own liking. You know, see, I'm going to leave a recipe down there to tell you how much I used. But you adjust it to your own taste. You may like it sweeter, or you may like it a little more tart. That's what it looks like, just a thin glaze. And we're going to get that brushed on to our pineapple and ham. Now you may have a favorite glaze that you like to put on your ham. So trim your full recipe down and make it just a smaller recipe to cook enough for 1 or 2 people. Now this is going to be enough for 2 people, but I'm cooking enough so that I'll have leftovers for me to eat. So I think that's enough of the glaze. I used almost all of it, so we're going to call that good. Next, you want to take your potatoes and your green beans that you had all mixed up with the oil and the seasonings, and you just want to lay those around your ham. Just get them spread out so that they're in a single layer. You don't want everything bunched on top of one another because you want it to all get done. Okay. Now I'm going to pop this in a 450-degree oven for 30 minutes or until the potatoes are done. Now to go with this easy Easter sheet pan meal, I'm going to be making some cream corn. Now I'm just going to open this can. I was going to make some in the crock pot, but I realized that time-wise, I didn't have time for the crock pot cream corn recipe today. So I will do that one in a future video for you to show you how to make cream corn in a crock pot for 1 or 2 people. Today I'm going to have to go with a canned, and that's okay. I'm just going to get this opened up, get it put on a pot, and get it put on the stove on a low heat so it can start heating up. Now I am going to have to come in here and add me a little pepper to that. You just get that pepper mixed up in there. Now I have boiled me a couple of eggs. So next up, we are going to make some deviled eggs. My 2 boiled eggs right here, I've already got them peeled. I'm just going to slice them right down the middle. And I'm going to pop this yolk out. I'm going to put it in this bowl. Now I'm just going to make the filling for my deviled eggs. I'll set those over there to the side. Take your yolks, just mash them up. Most of you have probably made deviled eggs, but if you haven't, it's very simple. Now next, I'm going to add me a little bit of mayonnaise. I'm not measuring, I never do for this. I'm just going to add me some mayo. I'm going to add me a little bit of mustard. I'm just going to get that mixed up. I think that's going to be just about right for me. Now you can mix yours as thin or as thick as you like. I'm going to put a little salt and pepper in. Just going to get that mixed around in there so it's all good and combined. Now this is definitely optional, but I am going to put a little bit of dill relish in mine. You can do sweet relish or no relish at all. And I'm not going to put a lot, just a little. This is a teaspoon, long handled teaspoon. I just put a teaspoon in. Get my eggs back over here, and I'm going to take this, and you just want to fill these eggs back up. Now if you want to get fancy with it, you can put it in a piping bag, or you can put it in a sandwich bag and cut the end out and pipe it in there that way, but I don't do all that. I'm not concerned with them looking perfect. I'm concerned with them tasting good. So you just want to put that filling back in those eggs. Get the rest of these done. I'm going to take some paprika to sprinkle on the top of these. Now you don't have to use paprika if you don't want to, but I'm going to. I think it makes them look pretty. And I might be the only one eating this, but I want my food to look good. So there you go, there's my deviled eggs. I'm going to put these in the refrigerator so they can be chilling. My sheet pan dinner is still in the oven cooking. My cake has been cooling, so we're going to go ahead and move to getting the frosting made for the cake. You want to take you a bowl, and I'm going to take about 2 ounces of cream cheese because I really like a cream cheese frosting. Now you could probably cut this in half and only do 1 ounce. That might be plenty, but I did take mine out of the ramekin to cool so that I can actually frost the entire cake. Now you do need that softened. It needs to be room temp. And I'm also going to take 2 tablespoons of butter that's also softened. You're also going to need a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and y'all know me, so I'm doing 1. And lo and behold, before I could get my frosting finished, my dinner has come out of the oven. This looks and smells absolutely delicious. I'm going to set this over here to the side and let it rest for just a minute. while I finish making my frosting for my cake. Okay, I've got my room temp cream cheese, my room temp butter, and my vanilla in this bowl. I'm going to get this mixed up and then we'll add in our powdered sugar. Okay, I've got that cream together, so now I'm going to add a half a cup of powdered sugar in. I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. I'm going to wind up with powdered sugar and my cream corn if I'm not careful. Let me get this mixed up. Okay, y'all, here is the frosting. It came together very good. And here is my little cake. It is upside down. I did take it out of the ramekin because I wanted to frost the whole thing, not just the top. So let's get this frosting on this cake. We'll scrape these sides down. We'll make sure we get it all. Now you can half that recipe and not even take this out of the ramekin, if that's the way you want to do yours, and that's probably how it was intended, but y'all know I have to be extra sometimes and just do what I do. So I'm doing it this way because I think it's going to look pretty and it's going to look more like a regular full-size carrot cake. This is a mini version. Great recipe. I will leave all of the recipes in the description box below so that this will make it a little bit easier for you if you decide to make this very easy Easter dinner for one or two. Nobody likes wasting food. This way, you're not wasting food and you're not having to eat ham and all the sides and all the dessert every single day for a week. So that's as good as I'm going to do it. We're going to add one more thing. I've got me some pecans and I'm just going to put me a few little pecans on top just for pretty. I'm not going for perfect here. I'm going for tasty. Now, if you want to go for perfect, you go for it. I mean, you go for it. No judgment here. I just want mine to taste good. And I can guarantee you it's going to. Sorry about the dog barking. He's joining in with the rest of the neighborhood. Okay, y'all. I'm going to pop this little carrot cake into the fridge so that this icing can set up. I don't want it melting on me at all. And we'll get our plate of food dished up because it is ready to go. Okay, I've got my plate right here. We'll get some of this ham with the pineapple. We'll get some of these green beans and potatoes. Gonna get some of our cream corn. Got a couple of deviled eggs here. We're gonna put 2 of these on here. And now last but not least, you can't forget the roll. I just went with the King's Hawaiian original sweet rolls because I don't have to bake these. I don't have to even heat them in the oven. I'm just going to take one out of this package and put it on this plate. It's okay to use convenience like these rolls, especially if you're just cooking for 1 or 2 people. Don't stress yourself out over a good meal. This was very simple to make, very easy, wasn't real time consuming. A delicious looking plate of food. Let's give this a taste. Okay, y'all. I've got my ham and pineapple with that glaze on it. We're going to taste every bit of this. This is a good looking plate of food for Easter. So here goes. That's good. Next, we're going to try the roasted green beans with a potato. Oh, those are good. Next, we'll go with the cream corn. Nothing special to it, just a can of cream corn heated up on the stove. I added some pepper. And it's delicious. Okay, next, deviled eggs. Love these. That's good. And of course, you can't go wrong with a Hawaiian roll. Okay, here we go. This has been in the fridge chilling. I'm going to cut me off a little piece and we'll give it a taste. Okay, y'all. I got me a little baby slice. How cute is that? That's just cute. Okay. This looks and smells absolutely delicious. This is homemade. It is not a boxed mix. This was very simple to make. Don't be scared of it because it says homemade. Don't be scared of it. The taste is going to be so much better than any of the mixes, boxed cake mixes ever can be. And don't get me wrong, I used boxed all the time. But this is going to be delicious. I'm ready for this. Oh man. This is superb. Oh goodness. This is moist. I know people don't like that word, but for a homemade cake, this is very moist. This is absolutely delicious. You know what? If you don't want to make anything else in this Easter dinner, you got to make you one of these little cakes. That's perfect for 1 or 2 people. If you're one, it's going to take you more than one time to get that 8, I'm pretty sure. But you have your leftover cake too, without it being a whole big cake. That's the whole thing here. I don't want a whole big carrot cake left. But this right here reminds me of my mama's carrot cake. Wow. This is delicious. So if you don't make anything else that I made today, you go make you one of these cakes. I don't care if you eat it with a ham and cheese Easter sandwich. Make you one of these cakes. You deserve to treat yourself. I'm going to go eat my cake. So there you go. That's all there is to it. A very simple, easy Easter meal for 1 or 2 people. And that even included a homemade mini carrot cake. And let me tell you something, that carrot cake is delicious. And I get it. Some of you don't like carrot cake. My husband will not touch carrot cake. He don't even want to look at it. So I get it. Some of you don't like it. But there's always other alternatives to make a single serve dessert. I mean, you can always grab you some of these little dessert shells, some fresh strawberries, and a little bit of whipped topping, and you got yourself a dessert. Or you can skip these little shells altogether and just eat you some fresh fruit with some of the whipped cream on top. Strawberries and whipped cream are delicious. There's a lot of options for single serve desserts. But I'm glad you hung out with me today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, go give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you're going to make for your Easter meal. Share this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one.